Every language has plenty of words that cannot be translated into English. There are even some words that just cannot be translated into any other language. We definitely have plenty of Spanish words with no English equivalent, and that's actually ironic because English has a lot more words than Spanish. Stay tuned, as today we will learn some untranslatable Spanish words. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Spanish with Unacademy. As I've mentioned today, we will talk about Spanish words that have no translation to English. Today, we will learn 13 untranslatable words. But before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our updates, and of course download the Unacademy language app. Yo soy Lorena. Are you ready? Empecemos. Let's start with our list of 13 Spanish untranslatable words that doesn't exist in English, but I think they should. Anteayer. Anteayer. It's just one word, anteayer. That means the day before yesterday. This word is pretty easy to understand, and it's a very basic concept, and of course we have the concept in English, but we will need many words to describe this concept. In Spanish, we only use one word, anteayer. Let's see it in a sentence. Mi aniversario fue anteayer. Our next word would be consuegro. Consuegro. This is your son or your daughter's parent-in-law. Okay? So, for example, instead of saying my daughter Carla's husband's parents, I would just say mis consuegros. It makes it super easy, right? Okay, so let's see an example. Mis consuegros vienen a cenar. Mis consuegros vienen a cenar. Our next word would be puente. Puente literally means bridge, but for us it also means a long weekend. For example, where there is 1 or 2 days between holidays, normally we will take those days, we will not work, and that would be a puente. Okay? So let's say, el fin de semana pasado fue puente por la independencia de México. El fin de semana pasado fue puente por la independencia de México. My next word would be entrecejo. Entrecejo is that space between your brows. This one right here. So we don't use this word that much until you want to point out something, right? Like, for example, they have something in here, or probably you're like making like this kind of movements with your entrecejo. Okay, so let's see an example. Tienes algo en el entrecejo. Tienes algo en el entrecejo. My next word would be sobremesa. When everybody stays seated after a meal just to keep chatting, okay? It is very common when you're having a meal with your friends or your family that you just stay in the table after eating, just having a conversation. You can have drinks or you can have like something to eat, and it's very, very common. Let's see an example. En casa de Pablo, la sobremesa se alarga durante horas. En casa de Pablo, la sobremesa se alarga durante horas. My next word would be tocayo or tocaya if you're a girl. This means a person who has the same name as you. For example, if your first name is Lorena, is mine, then you are my tocaya. So let's see. Creo que te confundes con mi tocaya. Yo soy Lorena Gamper. So there you need to make a specification on who are you talking about. It's time for us for our daily practice in the Unacademy language app, so let's do it together, shall we?
Let's look at the last few questions before we wrap up this chapter.
Okay, complete the sentence.
Una pizza, por favor.
Okay, we need to translate to Spanish. Where is the café?
¿Dónde? ¿Dónde está la cafetería?
Very good, guys. Okay, drag the images into the correct bucket. So let's see. Pasta,
Pasta,
vino,
vino,
cerveza.
cerveza,
Okay, now we need to match the following.
una sopa. La sopa. El menú, por favor. El menú, por favor.
Okay, true or false, guys? We use un or una to say de in Spanish. That's not true. Un or una, we would use it to say a pizza, for example, coffee. Okay, we need to listen and then translate. A beer, please.
Una sopa, por favor. Una cerveza, por favor. Una cerveza, por favor.
A hot dog, please.
Un hot dog, por favor.
Of course, we're going to use un since it's masculine. Okay, now translate this to English. La cafetería o el bar.
Or. ¿La cafetería o el bar?
Okay, identify the image.
Una pasta y un vino.
Delicious.
Un helado, por favor.
Okay. Okay, my next word would be estrenar. This means to wear something or to use something for the first time. I love it. You can use this verb when you want to wear something you just bought for the first time, but it's also used when talking about, for example, movies or books that are being released. Let's see an example. Me compré un vestido precioso y tengo muchas ganas de estrenarlo. Me compré un vestido precioso y tengo muchas ganas de estrenarlo. Okay, excellent. My next word would be madrugar. Madrugar means to wake up very early. Okay, for example, yo madrugo todos los días a las 5 de la mañana. Yo madrugo todos los días a las 5 de la mañana. Okay, our next word would be merendar. Merendar. This means to eat a snack in the afternoon, probably between your main meal and your dinner, okay? So we have a meal between lunch and dinner, and we call this merienda, okay? It usually consists of a snack. It can be either sweet or savory, and you can have it with a little bit of coffee or a cup of tea or maybe milk. Okay, let's see an example. Ya es hora de merendar. Ya es hora de merendar. My next word, which is a verb, is tutear. Tutear. This means to use the common pronoun tú instead of the formal usted to conjugate accordingly. Okay, so we only use the form usted in formal situations, for example, when talking to someone who's more important than us. Okay, while we're talking to this person, maybe they decide that the conversation doesn't require this form, and they might ask you to use the common pronoun tú to refer to them. Okay, for example, no hace falta que me hables de usted. Puedes tutearme. No hace falta que me hables de usted. Puedes tutearme. If you want to learn more about this topic, you should watch my video on the difference between tú and usted. Okay, this is one of my favorite words, and it is estadounidense. Long word. Estadounidense. The meaning: a demonym for a person or a thing from the United States of America. It is unbelievable that people from the United States just call themselves Americans and don't have an actual demonym from their own country, right? It's crazy since America is a whole continent. We do have a demonym and it is estadounidense. Mi nuevo jefe es estadounidense. Creo que es de Seattle. Mi nuevo jefe es estadounidense. Creo que es de Seattle. My next word would be manco. Manco. Manca if you're a girl. Manco, we use it to refer to a person who is missing a hand or an arm. Okay? For example, mi abuelo se quedó manco tras un accidente. Mi abuelo se quedó manco tras un accidente. Okay, our last word, it's a little bit related to the last one. It would be tuerto. Tuerto. So, tuerto if you're male, tuerta if you're a woman. So let's see. This is a person who can only see with one eye or that only has one eye. Okay? For example, mi hermano es tuerto. Mi hermano es tuerto. Well, that's a wrap for today's session, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video as much as I did. If you know some untranslatable words from your language to other language, I would love to read about it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and also download the Unacademy language app so you can start or continue learning languages. Yo soy Lorena. This is Spanish with Unacademy, and I'll see you the next one. Adios.